I recently made a video trying to list my favorite horror movies on Amazon Prime, and I was shocked at the lack of good horror movies on that platform. I could only find 7 that I thought should make the list, so I wanted to try another streaming platform to see if there was a better option for all of you horror geeks.
Watch your mouth.
And spoiler, there were a lot more and better horror movies available on HBO Max, so let's take a look at a few. But before we do, if you're new here, then welcome to Shadow Alley. On this channel we talk about horror movies and silicone masks, so let's proceed like Pamela Anderson and show you how silicone can change your looks. So if you're into that sort of thing, feel free to subscribe and stick around. Okay, so Prime was a big letdown, but I found a bunch of really great horror movies on HBO Max that I definitely love watching and I would wholeheartedly recommend to you. So many good ones, in fact, that I'm gonna do a rapid fire runner-up list before we get into the main list. So here are some notable horror movies before getting into what I consider to be the best. Alien vs. Predator. This combines 2 of my favorite genres, and it gets a lot of crap, but I think it's worth watching. Blade. Not really horror, but a good movie in the horror section of HBO Max, and worth watching. Cursed. A fun werewolf movie that I think deserves more praise. Eight-Legged Freaks. Fun horror comedy for fans of more lighthearted movies. The Saw series. Not my cup of tea, but the entire series is on here, and I know they're popular. Underwater. This is a recent movie done pretty well, that I think most people will enjoy. Okay, with those honorable mentions out of the way, let's get into my favorite and, in my humble opinion, the best horror movies available on HBO Max right now. If you told me to pick the movies that I wanted to watch right now, I would start off with an absolute classic from George Romero. It's Day of the Dead from 1985. His original classic is also available to stream here, but for me personally, I liked his next 2 sequels better, and this is certainly one of his best. It has all the zombie action you need with a touch of social commentary, and if you have HBO Max, this one should be on your list. This next one is almost like watching 2 movies for the price of 1. It's From Dusk Till Dawn from 1996, and it starts out as a gangster movie, only to then make a complete 180-degree turn to a vampire horror movie, and it gets absolutely crazy, and I love it. This is what it looks like when Tarantino does horror, and I wish he would do more, because it's a really fun watch. Since this is my list, I'm gonna count multiple movies in a series as a single item on the list, so I don't have to go through all the watchable sequels in a franchise. And the first example of fun franchises to watch on HBO Max is Ghoulies from 1985 and Ghoulies 2 from 1988. Okay, it's hard to say that these are good movies, but if you're a fan of cheesy 80s horror, like I am, then you'll probably enjoy these corny gems. And if you're watching this channel, you'll like these. Let's talk about another series often described as some of the worst horror movies ever made. Some might even consider the sequel the best worst movie ever made. It's Troll from 1986 and Troll 2 from 1990. Troll 2 has become a meme in the horror community, and for good reason, but I actually really enjoyed the original movie when I was growing up. And maybe it's just my nostalgia speaking, but I think it's a fun watch and maybe a good horror movie to introduce your kids to the genre. I don't think I'm gonna get any objection to this next franchise, as it's a beloved classic in the genre that created one of the biggest horror icons ever. It's Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984. And a few of the movies in this series are available to watch, and they're pretty much all worth it, but none are as classic as the original. If you're a horror fan and you're watching my channel, you probably have this one on your list already. Alright, now we're getting some truly great movies that I think everyone calling themselves a horror fan will already know and already love. The next movie on my list is Poltergeist from 1982, and it's pretty much the perfect 80s paranormal movie. Now, there are tons of paranormal movies that come out every year, but they never manage to make me feel the way I do when watching this classic. I can't say enough good things about this movie. It's what happens when you combine 2 brilliant minds with a classic idea, and if somehow you've never seen it, go get HBO Max right now and start watching. I was really excited to see that these next 2 movies were available to stream because they are arguably the best creature features ever made. They really actually might be. It's Gremlins from 1984 and Gremlins 2 from 1990, and I'm right, aren't I? Can you think of a better creature feature than the original Gremlins? It's another one of those horror movies that everyone loves, and the sequel changes the mood to more comedy, but both are absolutely worth watching, especially if you already have HBO Max. Alright, last but certainly not least, if I had to pick only one vampire movie to watch for the rest of my life, it would be The Lost Boys from 1987, and I'm guessing I'm not alone with this pick. This movie not only does horror and vampires in a fun way, it also completely encompasses the whole 80s vibe in a way that I love. From the music to the attitude, it has everything that I love in a great 80s horror movie. And since it's available on HBO Max, I'm sure it'll be on regular rotation at my house. So what do you think about my picks? Would any of these make your list? Are you impressed with the horror movies available on this platform? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. And please do all of those things you're supposed to do to help a channel grow, and I'll see you in the next one.
Insane stuff, but it's over.